Hello and welcome to the Online Trainers Podcast, where we go behind the scenes to uncover the latest tactics and strategies top trainers around the world are using to get more clients, dominate their marketplace, and get their clients amazing results. There is absolutely no fluff here. I'm your host, Lynn Trin. Hello and welcome back to this very special episode on the Online Trainers Podcast. Now today I've got a short one for you. I've decided to do almost a daily podcast, and once a week or once a fortnight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be catching up with experts from around the world who are actually hustling and grinding in the online trainer space, really talking and breaking down their business model so you can see it as a case study, because when you actually see what other people are doing, that's when you can get ideas and do it for yourself. But more so today, I really wanted to talk about something that held me back for quite some time. And when people look at me now and they ask, look, how are you growing so quickly? It's not an overnight success. It's really compiling a lot of time, a lot of information. At one moment in time, I remember consuming so much information. I used to go to sleep watching YouTube and watching, all these courses about online marketing, about sales funnels, about copywriting. And I have, for some period of time, digested a lot of stuff. Now I've just reframed my beliefs to really deliver more and to share more than I actually absorb. Okay. And once you get into that space, once you're able to share more than you actually absorb, that's when all the good stuff starts happening. So if there's something that, that's not clicking at this very moment in time for you, you're not achieving the level of success, the level of financial abundance, the level of freedom at this moment in time, it's probably because you're in a scarce state, okay? And we have this thing called scarcity and abundance. And this episode, I really want to focus on mindset because, after going to Tony Robbins, after going through everything I've gone through, one of the biggest key things, and I know I say one of the biggest quite a fair bit, okay, but this is really it, listen up. One of the biggest key things that will hold you back is actually your brain and your mind, okay? The thing between your two ears is actually going to hold you back, because here's the thing. Ultimately, most people knock themselves out of the game before they even begin, and it is due to fear. It is due to this thing called fear of not being rejected, fear of being rejected, or not being loved. Okay, those are the two things most people fear most. And for me, a lot of the times when I started out online I started out in 2013, at the end of 2013, and I just thought, okay, I'm some Asian guy in Australia, in Melbourne, Australia. Is there anyone really going to listen to me? And I was only 23 at the time, right? Imagine training these 26, 27, 40-year-old execs and whatnot and trying to get them to listen to you, okay? Now, that was something that took a bit of time to overcome, but if I had to go back, a lot of the times, this is the key thing that holds most personal trainers back. It's that fear that they're not good enough, okay? That's the number one fear. And when I look back, and why I know that's the number one fear is because I have the group and most people write in there that they don't think they're good enough, or what courses should they learn to develop their skills. And at the end of the day, I need to ask you a question. And that question is, what would you have to do to show yourself that you're good enough? Okay, really, it comes back to asking yourself that right question, because if you can reframe it in such a way, then you'll get the correct answer. Because most people don't even ask themselves that question. And so they just go on to this kind of reactive mode where they learn course after course after course after course. And then when you're still consuming all this information and you're not good enough, then what? You keep consuming information. And that's the cycle that I see. Most people are, they are good enough to help that average Joe or their niche get from A to B, as we talked about. But the fear of not being good enough really stems from not being good enough to your peers, not being good enough to your mentors, which then kind of is silly, because most of the time, or 100% of the time, it's not your mentors or your peers that are going to pay you money and fund your financial success and your dream life. It's actually your clients, prospects, and customers who are looking up to you at this moment in time, okay? And look, generally when I get an email like that, and if I had to talk to myself, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I would literally say, Lynn, look, chill out, okay? Chill out and ask yourself, what would it take? What would I need to do to prove to myself that I was good enough? And generally the answers come back to show myself that I can actually get people results, okay? If I go back 3 years ago, if I said to myself, okay, if I can get 10 guys results, if I can show myself that I can get 10 guys results, would that prove that I'm good enough? Would I feel like I'm good enough then? Awesome. Like naturally that's going to say yes. If I can get 10 guys results, I can get most guys results. So if that's all it takes to prove to myself that I'm good enough, and that's what it's going to take for me to go out there and take action and dominate the online trainer space, then you need to prove that to yourself. So what I generally say to anybody who has that fear of not being good enough is not digesting more information. Sure, you can digest that, but once again, if you're in a scarce mindset, and really just quickly, I want to talk about these two things. A scarce mindset is really when you're worried that you don't have enough. Okay, it's something. You don't have enough information. You're not good enough. An abundance mindset is you have enough and you're willing to share. Now, what happens is if you're in a scarce mindset, all you're going to be doing is reading and digesting all day. Now, by you reading and digesting, does that really help you and your business grow? No, because you're not adding value into the world. You see, the person who's got an abundant mindset will digest information and share it back into the world, okay? And understand that from that abundance, you will reap the rewards. So that's the two things. And you need to ask yourself the question at this moment in time, are you living in a scarce state or are you living in an abundant state? Are you sharing more information or are you digesting more information? Once you make that switch, then the world starts to spin around, you'll be rewarded handsomely, okay? But moving along, I sidetracked back on there because I'm so passionate about mindset, only because I've studied some of the top people, I've read biographies, and they've all got this one thing in common, that they're able to manage their mindset. They're able to break through their belief patterns and they're changing their environment. And that's the key to their success. Okay, so if it's such a common theme that comes up in the most successful people in the world, why aren't we adopting it? Which is why I'm so intrigued and passionate about mindset. And I'll get a few yes who are much, much better than me at talking about this and helping you break through your mindset. But here's the thing, right? Let's go back to me 3 years ago, if it took me 10 guys, if I had to transform 10 guys and get them phenomenal results to prove to myself that I was good enough, then all I need to do is just say to my old self, Lynn, go out there and offer 10 free online coaching packages for 10 seriously committed guys who are willing to take action. Okay, and then put together a plan. And so what you do is you almost launch what I call, a beta test, a prototype, kind of a core program out to the market, which you're building. And as you're building it, guys are doing it. So you might build out your first week 1 to week 3. Guys will do it, but that's accountability on your behalf, because you know what? If you're going to build out a 12-week program by yourself, a 16-week program by yourself, most trainers would take the whole year. They probably wouldn't finish. By taking on 10 guys doing it, you can actually prove to yourself that you can get them results, okay? But you get feedback on how you can make the program better. And that's what we use. Anything that I do, I need accountability. And what you'll find is you'll need the accountability as well. Because most of the time, this is the thing. It's our mindset that stops us from executing and finishing. Okay, if we can overcome that, because we have people on our asses, we have people that have signed up for our programs, we have people there keeping us accountable, it makes everything a lot easier. So today's topic really is digging a little bit deeper on mindset. And if you're thinking that you have a fear that you're not good enough, okay, if you're not good enough for putting yourself out there, you need to ask yourself the question, what do I need to do to prove to myself that I'm good enough? Okay, because I know you're a personal trainer. If you're listening to this podcast, you have some passion to grow your business. You wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you just wanted to stay inside the gym. You want to expand, you want to grow your message, you want more free time, money, and freedom, right? And ultimately more fun. But here's the thing, if you can't get your message out there, if you can't overcome coming onto a camera, going onto a video, shooting an audio program, putting your content out there, it's because you live in a scarce state and you don't live in an abundance mindset. And the two things that I said was that if you're in a scarce state, you're constantly saying that there's not enough. Okay, and when there's not enough, or you don't know enough, you're going to absorb more information. If you live in an abundant state, you're going to give out more information. And that's the thing. So today's question I have for you, my friend, is to really ask yourself, okay, are you living at really your true potential, number one? And what I like to say is most people, especially if you read the Stephen Pressfield talks about resistance and how we live two lives. We currently live the life that we're living at this moment in time, and we live a life that's at our full potential. Like we're doing everything that, the creator, the universe, God, whatever gave us to do, and we're living at that maximum life where all our dreams are true, right? What stands in the way between this life and our ultimate life is resistance, okay? And that's most of the time that resistance is coming from your mindset. So if you are to truly make it, okay, one big thing, one big area that you will need to focus on is overcoming your mindset of you're not good enough. And the question that you need to ask yourself is, what do I need to do to prove to myself that I am good enough? Generally, that's how I would answer it. I don't know how you'd answer it. Is that right? Is that wrong? You just let me know. Just comment inside the Online Trainers Club group on Facebook and let me know. If you listen to this podcast, write down a comment and let me know if that's a question that you ask yourself. Alternatively, if you have another question that you'd ask yourself, put that in as well, because if you can do something to overcome your fear and start living more abundantly, and abundance is really just sharing the knowledge you know, giving out value. Remember, we talked about this on podcast number 1, is really helping your niche market go from point A to point B. If you can do that and share your message authentically, abundantly, and deliver value whilst transforming your niche, okay, getting them a result in advance, showing them that, you are the expert, then you'll win. Okay, but a lot of the times it's this fear that you're not good enough. It's this fear that you need to learn more. It's this fear that you're going to be judged by your peers and your mentors, which is absolutely ridiculous, because your peers won't buy your program, your peers don't need your program, and your mentors definitely won't buy your program. So what are you fearing? Okay, you need to ask yourself that question and then overcome that fear. That is all for today. Really looking forward to kicking off this. I'm having a lot of fun with it as well. But here's the thing. Some of the longer episodes that you'll notice will be longer because they're going to be case studies. They're going to be, where I get to break down somebody's business models and see how it really works. And we share a lot of golden nuggets in there, but I'd really want to do a daily one. This is therapeutic for me, and really I'm moving out of, I'm leading by example. So I really want to move out of that scarce mindset and move into an abundant mindset, whereby anything that I learn, I want to be able to share that with you. So I hope you take something out of it today and go do the one actionable task I gave you.